and good time zone, everybody. Welcome to Horde of Tales. My name is Marcus, also known as the Chindividual, and my hands are frickin' cold. However, I think the rest of my companions might also be dealing with temperatures of diverse types, and I would like to quickly introduce everyone. Joining us once again here is our Warforged player as Rebus, Serial. We also have our Sorceress Triton, played by Ida, back again here. And the strong, swift, and always name-recalling Leonin Dythun, played by Austin, who totally did not last minute change the feat he got on his level up. And last but certainly not least, the catalyst for recent drama in our campaign and the great half-elf paladin of our group, Delphine, played by Caro. Hello, everyone. How are you today?
Cold.
Well.
Cold.
Well, today I recently received a token of affection, and I want to say to Delphine, Rain says I do.
What?
Still
arrived today.
It did.
Still
Thank you so much.
flabbergasted.
You're welcome.
For anyone who can't see, it is a single liquid core D20, very rainy colors.
Aww.
That's so beautiful.
Ooh.
You have to
That
post
is
a picture on Discord.
Yeah. I was trying to make a video, but my phone is a potato.
Mm.
It can't even run Hive.
Whoa.
Well, to be honest, Hive can't even run Hive. Like, it's,
Yeah.
you know.
I saw recent controversies about that platform on Twitter, and it's like, okay, cool, let's wait this out.
Yep, I'm waiting. But I
Yep,
want to save a name everywhere just in case. I'm not putting effort into anything beyond making an account.
There was a way back when I was young and skipper, when I was a young whippersnapper, and I had not gray in my hair. Here in the Netherlands, we did have a social platform that was actually called Hives back then. It was like in the times when Facebook had not made it yet on the European market, and basically every European country had its own social network, and we had Hives, and it looked super hip and cool because it spelled Hives with a Y instead of an I, so you knew it was cool. And I think its most revolutionary feature back then was that you could send pokes to people, which like you didn't do a message.
We
you
had
sent
this
pokes.
we had this as well, but on a platform called Ch.5.5, no, Ch.5.5, like the for students in general, and there you could poke others as well. So there was basically a large poke war, and there was also a feature where you could create groups with very random names, like my dog eat my homeworks, but my teacher didn't accept it.
The internet
For example,
was different. The internet was different back then. It was
wild.
Yeah.
Like Facebook was actually really useful back when it first came out, and you needed an EDU address after Yale and Harvard, and you could actually sign up to. We could register your classes there, and then everyone was in that class was immediately in that private group, and it was like homework assignment, the notes, here the bootleg copies of the textbooks, and that's what I use Facebook for.
I never lived that part of Facebook. Like,
I'm ancient.
You believe you're
well, it took forever to get to Europe. Like, you know.
Yeah.
We had other things. We had 20 in Spain. Not written 20 as in 20 the number, but 20 as in TUENTI.
20.
Yeah.
That's funny. Oh.
I've just resorted back to Neopets.
You know, we are
Yes.
Yes. And now we're here. Now we're living in 2022, and we're live streaming a D&D game. You see how times change, and people can live comment on it. How about we go and play that D&D game that we came here for, as much as I love to bask in the glow of nostalgia and memories. Before we go and do that fun, I want to make sure that everyone who is here with us today knows that it is Tuesday and that you're here at Horde of Tales. a Twitch channel where we play tabletop RPGs, and on Tuesdays we come here to play Convergence Manifesto, which is a D&D 5th edition game set in Eberron and following the adventures of the, surprise, Convergence Manifesto adventure series. Right now, we're in a little bit of a more homebrew intermezzo known as a Prophecy of Storms. And that is kind of like our Chapter 5.5. But if you liked what you've seen so far here and you want to play these adventures yourself, you can find all of the Convergence Manifesto adventures on acrosseberron.com. Our overlay, which is made by Caro, and the character art that you see is a co-op between Caro and Serial, and it is very cool and beautiful character art. The music that you hear is by Dark Fantasy Studios, and our virtual tabletop of choice is Foundry VTT. And if you see any kind of battle maps, they are probably made in Dungeon Draft by Megasploot. Last but not least, on this channel, you can use channel points for different things. You can make us drink, you can make us stretch, you can highlight messages, but you also can give us cat vantage, which works very simple. If you see a cat on someone's screen, you can use your channel points to give someone cat vantage. Don't forget, when you give cat vantage, also point out which player should get the cat vantage, and a player can always only have one dose of cat vantage. When you give a player cat vantage, you see a cute little kitty cat pop up, like you, for example, see right now with Caro on the screen. And they can then use that cat vantage to give themselves advantage on a roll of their choice, and then the cat vantage is gone. So keep an eye out for cats. And
what if a player, instead of giving themselves advantage with cat vantage, decides they want to materialize an in-game cat? What about the cat part?
So using their cat vantage to create an actual cat in-game.
A cat is now meta, or like, is now in the game.
That certainly would change certain scenes. I am intrigued by this idea.
Typhoon has some opinions about this.
I already exist.
How about we turn
Maya joke to you.
into a complete cat?
Hydrate. Thanks, Celestial.
Hydrate. So while we hydrate, I'm gonna run our intro, and then be right back for session episode 40 already. That's 40 of the Convergence Manifesto. Be right back after the intro. Welcome! We're back! No.
Oh no!
That was something wrote there. Woo! We are not sticking with that voice for the rest of the session. What we will be sticking with is this bunch of adventurers. Bunch of adventurers who are currently caught up in a little bit of a situation. After an impromptu decision, after their recent adventures to visit Delphine's ancestral home of Stormhome, Delphine had decided to turn herself in because there was a massive bounty placed on her head by her own family. After having turned herself in, her companions did the only logical thing: devise a plan to try to get her out again. While they were going about that, Delphine also was making sure that she had a way of escape. And after a brief meeting with the actual matriarch, Baroness Ezravash de Lyrandar, who had put out the bounty, Delphine decided that she wanted to just flee from the Lyrandar Palace before the rest of the party could actually work out a plan to save her. Meanwhile, the party befriended a painter who turned out to be an assassin and watched Delphine already flee, which caused the party to, what I call, to heavily improvise the rest of their plan, and it turned out well. They got eventually out of the Lyrandar Palace, one way or the other, and were able to reconvene nearby a ship that belonged to Darien, and later in an abandoned warehouse, where after some back and forth, Delphine temporarily hiding out in the kitchen of a very friendly Warforged cafe, the party was once again reunited and is now dealing with how to approach it. They did not only create a bit of a mess getting Delphine out, they also botched the assassin's attempt, Harral, she is called, at trying to assassinate the matriarch. And now,
Right. Bad timing.
we still need to find out how to deal with that. Party members, we ended last session with Rain coming back with Delphine after Rain used some shape-shifting magic to cover herself up as some kind of ship captain. And the two of them have just returned to this warehouse where Darien is hiding you out. Darien, who is still recovering from a crossbow bolt to his shoulder, and Harral, who is still recovering from, well, having her assassination attempt interrupted. Everyone is here,
Ooh.
and next to you there's just a bunch of crates and boxes, some remaining light coming in through some window panels in the roof of the warehouse, cobwebs, maybe a few spiders, and endless possibilities of what you would like to do. And with that, I ask you, my dear players and your characters, what would you like to do?
What time of day is it, DM?
It's actually, there hasn't been that much time that has passed since you arrived here in Stormhome. You arrived in Stormhome in the morning after sailing about a night here. Delphine turned herself in, was fairly quickly picked up. You took a little bit of time to devise your strategy of getting to the palace. Then the entire escape went by fairly fast. I'd say it's like at most afternoon at this point, like early afternoon. It's been quite a morning.
True.
Okay. We're in like this warehouse. Like Harral is here as well, correct?
Yes, she's
Okay.
leaned against a few crates and is just looking at all of you, taking you all in.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna come out here and say this. Harral, what is your current plan? Because obviously the old one kind of went to shit.
It certainly did. And I was hoping that I could, considering that you apparently also have business with the matriarch, interest you in getting involved with a bit of a backup plan.
Can someone enlighten me what the fuck is actually up here right now?
Right. Forgot about that.
Who are you looking to Harral?
Harral just leans forward. You see this this tall half-orc woman. She leans forward, reaches out her hand that she wants to shake your hand, and she just says, "Harral, painter / assassin who was hired to kill a family member of yours."
Not taking the hand, just looking at Harral like, okay, cool.
Don't worry, not one of the ones I think you like.
Oh, you know, the number of people that I don't like in there is pretty huge.
Harral looks at you. Delphine de Lyrandar, former captain of House Lyrandar, sailing under flag.
I
of
was never a captain.
Oh, I need to check my sources then. But you've built quite a reputation within and outside of your house.
I try to figure out, is this just now like a small conversation to get to know each other, or is there anything more coming?
You would definitely figure out that she's not just making small talk. She's kind of gauging you up at this point. Tries to see
No, I'm saying that to her.
Oh. Okay, sorry. But there's certainly more. Just trying to get a little bit of feel for the real Delphine. Not the one that I've heard from rumors and mission briefings.
I guess you can believe like 90% of what you heard.
Oh, that's pretty much. That's not typical in my line of work.
Anyway. So you came to assassinate someone? Looking at the rest of the group, you made quite a ruckus up there, and I don't know what you did.
Well, Delphine, I'd like to know. Apparently, our ruckus prevented this assassination. On did Harral just say on the matriarch, or just on the family?
Yeah. She said on a family member. She said on a family member. She didn't say yet on the matriarch.
So, Rain will just say it. So, our ruckus seems to have disrupted the assassination attempt on Baron Escherbash. Now, Delphine, does that disappoint you or relieve you? It's like Rain is looking very intently at Delphine.
There's quite this moment of just processing that information. Huh? Okay. Let me come to this back later. Looking to Darien. What the fuck are you doing here?
Darien, who is like, who had been scrounging through some of the boxes to get cloth to also like refresh the bandages on the wound of his shoulder. He's turning around to you. Dear cousin, I was very much a integral part of the initial plan of getting you out of danger. Through my connections and my, well, silver tongue, your companions were even able to get access to the palace. And might I say, I provided some additional distraction on the escape, to my own dismay.
He acted as a tour guide and got a arrow shot at him. Am I wrong?
That is one interpretation of the event. Well,
somehow the gods got pretty good with like their aiming in the last years. Pointing at that part where Delphine got shot by one of the bolts as well, like where the coat is a little bit ripped off.
Yeah. Well, their training has surely improved.
Wow, the brainwashing goes deep. I asked the question and they immediately revert into lauding their house. So I guess you're relieved the plan was foiled?
Okay, listen. I don't know how to feel about this. And why I don't have like very warm feelings for Baron Escherbash. She's still the matriarch. So.
What does that mean?
Well, apart from the fact that assassinating someone like this is very hard.
That's Harral's problem.
Well, it was indeed my problem, but I will be honest, I did have people help me with alleviating some of these problems.
Your own family, even. Rain says
It
out
seems
loud
that-
to Delphine.
It seems the Baroness Ravage is not very popular within her own house.
I mean, I have my reason that looking over to Darien. You definitely have more insight about this.
Darien says, what Harral is referring to is that it seems as if she was hired as part of a fairly desperate attempt at ridding the house from the Baron's fascinations.
Oh, I see.
I mean, if first she's going to call in and threaten Delphine, who else will she do so? Someone rather high up in the family, since no one is safe? Won't the poor family crumble under her leadership? Isn't this exactly what she has coming?
Suddenly, the whole situation got more complicated than I would like to have it.
All right, so what now, Harral, since...
So, you say you came here because you got hired to kill her.
I did. Well, my organization got contracted for this task, and I am the professional they've sent.
Who exactly hired you?
Under many other circumstances, I would consider that a professional secret, but your companions... They seem to be so sharp-witted, it would only be a matter of time before I would reveal it anyway. Lyrwin the
that
Lyrandar
right?
and
Told you!
his cabal did hire me.
I seem to have something stuck in my throat. Excuse that previous outburst of mine.
If I'm not
So what's
mistaken, Lord Lyrwin is your father, isn't he?
Yes.
How would you describe your connection to him?
I would say fairly cold in the last years.
Hmm.
Because of specific reasons.
I don't want to go into much detail about that. But it might be good to know for you that apparently your father has been working behind the scenes to work in ways to rid Baroness Ravage of her position. And that has come to this ultimate solution of having her assassinated. Which, from what I have been briefed with, considering the course she is taking a dragon-marked house on, it might indeed be good if someone else stepped up to the plate and took charge. But I am an assassin, not a political analyst.
How fitting that a rain caller should rise to the top. So what are our next steps?
Looking to Rebus. I know I gave you my stuff. Can I get it back, please?
Of course, Delphine. Sorry. I'll hand her the bag.
Yeah, okay. Taking the bag, putting my hand into it, taking out the small little flask, and then taking a fast swig of it.
Darien comes up to you, looks at the flask. Could I have a swig of that?
Handing it over.
Takes one as well. If anyone here is interested in my opinion on this state of my own house.
So, Delphine, what do you think might be the best option? Do you think we help with this, or do you think we don't? Because it's your family, and I don't think it makes right for any of us to make a decision without following what you think is right.
Oh. I think there's already a lot of trouble caused. Well, now. I mean, from what I've seen, you also did quite your work up there. Looking to Rebus and Typhoon.
Well, in our defense, we weren't truly following any
We didn't have a plan.
properly settled plan. Yes. Improvising is not my forte. I recognize it could have been handled with a bit more elegance, and we are in a bit of trouble right now, but there are just too many things going on right now, so hopefully we'll figure out what we want to do and if we want to get involved at all.
Okay, if I
Really?
remember correctly how it was normally handled, I hope he didn't kill anyone. Well, doesn't matter. So probably they will search for you as well.
So
Like,
the
on
only
the
way to
Wolffucking
clear our
Island.
names is to actually be done with it.
Yeah, kinda.
Harral, what is the next step of your plan?
It's my plan B. I will tell you, in my many years of doing this work, I never had to resort to any plan Bs I had.
Call it an extended plan A then.
What delightfully optimistic rebranding. So,
That
we'll
feels
take
like a loophole.
we stick with my extended plan A, which would be infiltrating the Lyrandar Palace through a section of the sewers running underneath the city.
Mm-hmm.
To get in there, get as stealthily as possible to Asrava's sanctuary, and best case scenario, enter in her sleep, and otherwise after maybe a little bit of a hustle and tussle. In my original plan B, extended plan A, I was the only one who was running it, but now, she does a quick head count, 5 additional people to get involved in here. Darien looks up from his flask. I'm not sure that I signed up for any kind of infiltration through the sewers. It's quite
Darien will hear telepathically in his head. Maybe your uncle, the Raincaller, will see you very favorably.
He says out loud, just let me first get my boots before we get into the sewer. They're a little bit more,
One note, Matrix might show up here.
Yes. Huh.
I
Then taking the flask back from him.
we
Here, as in this location here.
Probably, most likely.
I think what
She
I
said she
think-
will find us.
Well, I think it is time for a little bit of more explanation of Madrith's role, which I have to apologize, Darien says, that I was a little bit unclear about in our original approach to the palace, when I still had hope that we would just go on recon and maybe convene with Madrith later. She has been hired as captain of the guard for the palace after the successful recovering of a member of a house from that dreadful island. You probably remember the incident. And she has been doing fairly well, fairly successful there as well. But she is also doubting the course of the house. That's why I was hoping that I could involve her in this plan. And if I will join this brave endeavor to infiltrate through the sewers, it might be beneficial if beforehand I get just the briefest of moments to maybe hook my sister into this plan as well.
well, if I may, it's been a long time since I've had to do any kind of like proper tactics or espionage was never really my strong suit. But if we are to go with a plan like this, it might be best to limit the information. Maybe something as simple as making sure guards are not in certain locations, or telling her we're doing something to keep an eye out, and not necessarily say, hey, we're going to be trekking through the sewers to go here to do this and ABC, and maybe just kind of limit the amount of information that's spread, because if she has one person under her watch that does not agree with what she's saying, anything she tells any of them is going to spread.
I see another problem here. Because with everything that happened since the morning, there will be guards everywhere. Like, not only in the city.
That's why Harral suggested the sewers.
Yeah, but like getting even to the private rooms of the matriarch will be a
I
hellhole.
assume there's not a sewer exit in the Baroness's room.
Those kind of conveniences only exist in stories you find in books. It would be
Yeah,
way too
so-
ridiculous to have that in any work of fiction, Harral says.
So there would still be some point we have to probably deal with guards. So I agree, having Madrith on our side would be beneficial, but again, maybe scarce on the details.
How about when the need for the scarcity arises, provided I have not used all of my resources going through said sewers, I could reach out to her.
Here's a question. Is Darien wanted right now?
Yes, actually, I saw him being not so revered by his family guards when I literally picked him up.
I must agree with the Lady Rain there. Though my position within the house was already certainly not at its peak, it has been worsened by these events. I
So
fear that not even my job of harbor master will be granted to me anymore.
So how were you planning to get in contact with Madrith?
I would have come up with a plan.
Right. See, this is
Yeah.
why.
Because that is the thing that you're good with. Plans.
Then neither are we, to be honest. So why don't we just follow Harral's and go?
What I would, I have to add to the comments made by Dythun, was it?
Yes.
The fact that we might want to limit the flow of information is a good point. Having a person on the inside is good, but if we weave anyone else into this, we should limit the amount of intel they have. Only an absolute need-to-know basis. I mean, for my tastes, all of you already know way too much about this entire operation. Also...
Well, lucky for you, we are in a bit of a crossroads, so we will help.
It is certainly a good crossroads to be at in these kind of chaotic times. But looking at all of you, just having made a grand escape, being chased by gods, I wouldn't want you to crawl through some sewers at this point. I think we should find a place where we can lay low, have some rest, and work this out a little bit further. Darien, you seem to be familiar in these parts of the city. Do you have anything that you could offer while you're still harbor master? Darien goes, well, I can make sure that no one enters this warehouse. I can get some bedrolls for everyone.
We should release Darien's ship beyond the bay. They'll think we've fled by ship.
Wait, hold on there. That ship, as beautiful as it is my final...
Cody.
It is my final beautiful vehicle I have.
That's really the only one you have that's beautiful?
I used to have a beautiful airship.
Ha.
And Harral says, it would make a great distraction. Set it out into the bay, sail it out a little bit. They'll chase it.
Okay.
And then tow it back and it'll be there waiting for you, Darien.
I was about to say, could you not just send a small crew to say, hey, we need to take the ship out for like a test at sea just to get it off dock and to come back eventually? You don't have to like push it.
I could push it.
I could do it. I'm just scared what will happen with my beautiful ship.
Also, I think, even though you're saying that no one should enter this warehouse by any means, they will still come and search it at some point.
Well, you can't exactly go get a room at the Gold Dragon Inn at this point.
No.
All right, but if I was looking for someone and somebody said, hey, that area is off limits, that would be the first part I go to.
Exactly.
But they search here when they see, oh, Darien and his conspirators has left via ship. DM, am I still disguised?
Yes, you are still in your disguise, yeah.
I'm going to go push your boat out, Darien.
What?
That's all I'll do. If it'll find its way back to you, it was truly yours. I sincerely mean it. I will only push it out.
That's not how boats work.
Well, if you love something, you should let it go.
It will come back to you.
That doesn't apply to boats.
Rain loves bullying Darien, but at a certain point, she has to realize if he has to be on board, we also have to take care of him a bit too, because pushing too much will flip him. So Darien will hear in his head, if I have the means after this, I will rouse the waters to bring it back if it's possible.
And what if...
You have my word as a Triton.
Mm-hmm. And what if we are using this distraction, putting Darien on it, on the ship, letting him sail outside of the island, then the island is not completely overlooked by the rain colors. There's another side of it, which is in pretty shit weather, to say at least. And guards might not go there. So having him basically sail a bit, anchor up outside, and let him wait there.
With the risk of me then being captured and being thrown into dungeons we tried to save you out of.
Oh, don't worry, I can get you out of
Whereas you would be safer infiltrating the palace with us?
I will nonetheless push the ship.
No, wait. Rain, wait.
Hmm?
I will take the ship. I'll take a crew. Sail out. Buy all of you a little bit of time.
Well, in that
Because
case, I will give you an encouraging push.
You did, after all, not hold a grudge against me after I tried to kill Delphine.
I still have a grudge against it.
You did not hold a grudge against me after you had to save me from Ice White Isle, which you so magnificently did. And
Yeah, I mean, one could say you owe us our lives twice-fold. Once because you tried to kill us and couldn't, and the second time because we saved you, despite of it all. So, logically.
Also, my favorite boots are on my boats and my ship still. I would have to get them there anyway.
Of course, that's why. Now say goodbye, Darien. I'll join you outside.
Wait, hold on, I have a question. Somebody mentioned, maybe taking a moment to rest. Would that be before or after the ship leaves? We should probably get that sorted.
Well, I would say
Is
once
the ship a distraction?
Once the
Okay.
ship leaves, that would be the distraction. And
Right,
you
okay.
should have some more. You should have the heat drawn off this place while I sail out into danger.
Maybe things. Well, no, who knows?
Okay, at this point, I'm taking Darian's arm and basically drag him to the side. I know that you're pretty anxious about the world situation.
Oh, yes, well, absolutely. Here, and he takes your hand, puts it on his chest. Can you feel my heart? Can you feel how fast it goes?
Yeah, well, anyway. Basically lowering the voice. I know that Belden is in the city. Ask him to help you with this.
He's not going to the city.
I'm not sure I could reach out to your old companion fast enough for that.
There might be a few of his men around the harbor. We might still have a little bit of time until the guards are coming down here.
I can at least spread the word a bit then. Reach out to his men here and see how fast it goes down the grapevine. Are you sure you want him to help with this?
Well, options are limited.
Fair enough.
Don't mention the rest of this to him, yeah.
Oh, I would not. You know, these lips are sealed. I would never blabber out anything. Well, off we go.
We're going?
We're going.
All right, everyone. I'll see you later.
And the two of you leave the warehouse.
And if Rain is aware of how much time is left on her spell, she's really hurrying Darien. Because
I would
to
say at
inform the
this-
DM, as soon as that boat is untied and going off, Rain wants to expend Tidal Wave and push that boat out. It's going to make a ruckus, and she's still disguised. So this is her only chance to get in and out somewhat smoothly.
But oh yeah, it's this kind of stuff. Yeah.
I will show it to you on Foundry. So, I conjure a wave of water where it's already water everywhere that crashes down in an area within range. I would crash it, like not on the boat, but before the boat. And as I'm it's a third level spell, so I'd like to expend it in a way that just like really like the boat gets to surf down a really cool wave fast.
Yep.
If you allow me that usage.
You and Darien get down to the docks, and you still know you have about, the moment that you arrive there, you have about 20 minutes left on your disguise self spell. So, Darien's like, okay, wait, and you notice that in between, he was like, while you were making your way there, he was like sometimes like just budging into some of the sailors and other people on the docks, and he was just like quickly like shaking hands, making smiles, like, haha, how you doing? And sometimes was leaning into some people to quickly whisper something into their ears, and then would move further on. And eventually you are at the boat, and he's standing next to this. Typhoon had it right. It is a pretty gaudy ship with its with its crimson coloring, and it has this what do you call again the figure on the front of a boat? Is
Figurehead.
that like the figurehead? Is it that simple? I always feel like I make boat terms more complicated than they are.
No, it's a figurehead.
Yeah.
It's a figurehead because it's a figure at the head of a
That's
ship.
ridiculous.
That makes sense. So
Oh,
what you
sadness.
what you didn't see the first time when you only saw the ship from a distance.
Oh god, is it him?
It's the figurehead is the upper body of Darien,
Oh.
having one hand
No.
raised to his forehead.
No!
And in the other hand, he's holding a
Austin is
saber.
leaving. They're done.
Is it clothed? Is it clothed?
He is close. He has like this waving coat, but he doesn't have a lower body. It's like his body is emerging out of waves that are carved into the figurehead figure.
At least it's clothed.
And
Oh god.
he
I
has
cannot. I cannot.
you,
This man.
you see him look at that, and you
You
notice,
have
like,
the confidence and
the figurehead of him has like this pretty impressive chest and shoulder area, like he's been lifting for years, and it's in no way the frame of Darien. And you see Darien stands there, has his hands on his hips, he looks at the figurehead. Magnificent, isn't it?
Darien, I am doing my best here. Thank you for helping us. And you see Rain is like dying inside. You can just cast fire on it. It's so easy.
I wish I was there.
And Darien is marveling at the figurehead, and you see at the moment that he approached, he already ordered some of the sailors and deckhands that were around the ship. He gave them instructions that the boat has to be prepared and everything. And just standing at the top on the ship, looking down on you, one of his deckhands comes there and is like, goes to like, Harbor Master. Ship's ready. Are we good to go? And Darien goes, looks over at Rain. Almost. And he steps close to you again, looks at you, leans a bit in and says, thank you very much for this.
Friend. Now go.
And he walks up the gangplank. Sailors, Today looks like the kind of weather that has unexpected waves forming. We should steady our deck feet, stay steady on the planks, and not be surprised by any... The wave rises out of the docks, and actually some of the walkways in the docks also lift with the waves as the ship is being pushed out into the harbor, and you can hear one of the deckers go like, ah! And there's some screaming, people tying onto ropes. Some of the other people on the docks look at what's happening with the ship, and you actually lift the back of the ship a little bit up, so the figurehead of Darien tips a little bit into the water, and then comes back up again, and the wave rolls forward as it goes out into the docks. Rain, could you also give me a perception check at this point, please? Blah.
Okay. Nowadays, if I just roll badly on the Caro dice, I'm just gonna blame Caro. So, don't fuck me, Caro. That's a 9.
It's
Come
kind
on,
of
Harral.
video.
Well, Harral, you're better than this.
What?
You are German, so 9.
9. You stand there and you look at how does Lorraine look after she summoned this tidal wave and sees this ship sail forward?
She kind of has her arms crossed. She's like, I didn't know I could make them that big. I must be getting better. Like she says internally, looking like impressed at the wave she made. She's like kind of nodding at it. Like, wow.
You actually see that there was this one seagull on a wooden post that got completely showered from the wave, and the seagull looks angry at you. And as it looks at you, you don't notice that rushing up behind you, you're just being shoulder bumped by a guard that rushes up behind you, past you, and onto the docks, followed by a few other guards. And you hear them say, "That's Darien's ship. Looks like he's trying to get away."
I will start stepping backwards because I look like a half-elf sailor. And I am going to subtly cast as I'm moving away and away and away. Let me double check the range on this. Come on. I can see within range. I'm going to go to the back of the dock. Hopefully that's maybe like 40 feet or something. At the very end of the dock, subtly cast wall of water. Let me show that for you.
It's a wall of water.
So I'm walking backwards, and a wall of water appears, which is like 30 feet long, 10 feet high, 1 foot thick. I'm just making it the full 20 feet out, like right where the guard said, "That's Darien's ship," like completely obstructing their view.
Would you say that the wall of water is actually...
What do you mean? This is just how water behaves, like normally on here. It's just nothing weird. Just
would you say that the water...
Have you never seen waves?
The wall comes out of the water in the docks? That you like pull it out as a wall from there? Or how does it look when it materializes?
The very little water that came back suddenly just lifts all of itself up into a single wall, so much that you almost see like the sand at the bottom of the where the water was.
Yeah, you actually see like there's the sand and all, like, you know how these crusts of shells and everything can form around the base of the pillars in the dock. You see all of that as the water rises up. It actually rises up just right in front of one of the guards, who gets like his face brushed by it, and
we're gonna drown, and I run away.
And with that you create a beautiful distraction for all of that, as the crimson ship with the most beautiful figurehead in Stormhome is floating out into the waters. And eventually, Rain, you make it back to the warehouse. Just around that time, your disguise self spell is peeling off of you, is like slowly disintegrating on you.
Do I feel I need to hide, or I've made it?
No. You basically just come into the warehouse. You see the rest of the group there, and as you enter, the disguise vanishes.
I love that visual actually. Like leaves falling from a tree, kind of just really good.
I always have I always have to think of like Mystique from the X-Men, like the effect
Yes.
of Mystique with like the
I would
That's
say
so
in
good.
Brain's case, as an aberrant sorcerer, and considering the source of her, the spark that where she sources her magic from,
Mm.
it sort of slops off her like oil.
Oh. Oh, that's cool. So it basically like slops off and then just
Oh.
vanishes.
There's something slimy and shiny about it, just drips and falls off, and then it just
Oh.
vanishes.
Disgusting. I love it.
Fun.
If I think that,
Disgusting.
I have theories about where her magic came from, and I think that's a characteristic thereof.
And as you come back with that image of your magic peeling off, Harral looks out to the rest of the party. Well, I certainly heard sounds of something happening down in the docks. Was that operation successful?
It was indeed.
All right.
I don't think I was followed. Well, why would anyone stop to look?
Exactly. You got the cover. You got the skills. So, and Harral looks around. Talking about skills, let's run a quick inventory of what all of you can do. She points at Rebus. You, Fancy Warforged, what can you do?
Well, I'm not quite sure. I can, whatever you require of me, I can hold a conversation. I can look around, stand guard. I can punch really hard.
Rebus is
Uh,
very good at combat. Don't underestimate yourself.
Well, I'd rather find other means that don't involve violence, but
You don't look like a combat model.
Oh?
so I've been told. Yes.
Fascinating. This is
I
Questions
speak
for
from
later.
experience. They hit very hard. It hurts a little bit.
I hit very hard. That's good to know. We need hard hitters. Can you show me how hard you can hit Rebus? Throw me a punch. Punch me.
Are you sure? I wouldn't want to hurt you. I can just. My friends can vouch for me.
All of you vouch for them?
Okay.
Just hit her. If she
I
wants
can
that.
take it.
I will hit her.
Can you give me an attack roll, Rebus?
Yeah.
What's violence between two consenting individuals?
17.
Harral stands there and you throw the punch and she didn't expect the speed at which your punch would come. So you see that she was trying to do a movement to lean out of the way, but she underestimated the agility of your arm. And then you just hit her in the shoulder and you hear like this poof in the shoulder, air leaving her. She goes like, woof.
It's 4 bludgeoning points, 4 damage.
Yeah.
I don't have to roll for those. Those are just it happens.
You can punch. Good to know. Warforged can punch. I think. Well, I'm
My
apologies.
apologies. I'm sorry. Are you okay?
Rebus, right? Rebus, is it?
Yes.
Don't apologize for that punch. It was really good.
Okay.
I hope you have more of those ready. Dythun, was it?
Technically.
The tactical Leonin. Next to coming up with good tactical analyses, what are you good at?
I think Dythun, like every time Harral says Dythun correctly, it's just a little bit like, that's new. I mean, I can hold my own in a combat situation. Not necessarily just hitting hard, but trying to take control of the situation at large.
Maneuvering the battlefield?
Yes.
assessing the situation, what kind of things can be advantages to you.
Exactly.
Wait a minute, Harral. I thought you were familiar with Daithun.
Facets of him, yes, but not everything.
Hmm.
Full disclosure, whatever I gather about him here will be added to the dossier. To the dossier. The file. The folder.
Dossier?
There's...
The dossier.
Thank you. Thank you, Rebus. Good punches, good vocabulary.
Yeah, that
Rain.
tracks.
Rain, you're probably... You're the wizard of this group, right?
Oh, please don't compare me to those fastidious, boring academics.
Oh, are you one of those magicians that's born with it?
I'm a rule breaker.
Rule breaker. We're gonna break some rules, you know that, so that will come in handy.
She is chaos incarnate, though. You should be made aware. I have been, my gears have been quite entertained and oftentimes challenged, trying to make sense of her decisions. But I think I've learned a lot from her. So
Interesting.
While Harral is talking, Rain is recalling that she couldn't get a little read on Harral. Someone as studied as Rain, maybe there's people with innate abilities and ways to block these kind of mental intrusions, but there may also be magical items. Rain is looking at Harral up and down while Harral's also doing the assessment. Rain is also particularly looking at neck, hands, wrists, fingers.
Can you give me an investigation check?
Yeah. Different dice. Ooh, that's way better. Total 18.
18.
Yeah.
You look for like the usual suspects, any kind of magic items, because you're aware there are things like rings that can shield the mind from telepathy and the like. You know, there's other items that can turn your mind into a blank for anyone who tries to get in there. But from what you can just tell on a glance, Harral is like really normally dressed, like just your normal painter that comes to paint your room. And there is nothing that would immediately look like this is an obvious magic item. Could you also give me an Arcana check, please?
Yeah. That is not as good. Total 13.
13. While you're pondering the possibility of like maybe she has something under her clothing or something, maybe there's an amulet tucked into a shirt or wherever else it might be, you also think there is indeed magic that can just seal your mind. You have heard while you were still in your Triton homelands that there are magical procedures people can undergo to basically have their mind completely blocked from outside intrusion. And that's one of the possibilities you could think of, that also considering her line of work, it would not be unthinkable.
Pretty handy for an assassin.
That was done, yeah. As you are doing that, she turns over to Delphine, and you, golden child, what are you good at? Next to getting bounties placed on your head and attacking ships.
Magic, fighting. I'm pretty good with this pistol and showing it.
Pistol? Huh. I always wondered, why do not more people in your line of work use a pistol? I know they're expensive, but your House Lyrandar, you can afford some pistols, can't you? I guess they're loud.
It's not as exactly as if we are all sponsored out of the same pot, you know.
That is a fair point. All right.
And
Yes.
what about you? What are you good at?
Pretending. I can be whoever you want me to be. And I can be very convincing in that. Not as convincing as if
Well,
I were.
see,
Yep.
this raises the question: should we trust you right now, and how much of this plan is going to work if we do not have that kind of, well,
Do you
it's
want?
not like we have any other options, so understand our hesitation.
Would you like to have a backup for this rebus? Because I could make sure
Yes,
that
obviously.
I could make sure that we are all on the same line when it comes to like telling the truth.
Oh, that would be excellent, Miss Delphine. Thank you. Yes, I think it would help my mechanisms run a bit smoother.
Looking to Harral, you okay with this?
Not the first one. The first time someone would put me under that spell.
Well, then this is fine, and I'm casting Son of Truth.
All right. 15-foot radius. That's
What's the
large
save?
enough to. You can decide if you want to save or you can willingly fail the save.
So what's the save?
The save is a charisma saving throw. And if you fail the save, you cannot deliberately speak a lie while in the 15-foot radius. And the caster knows whether a creature succeeds or fails on the saving throw.
That's a total 20 on the Caro die.
Yeah, that saves it definitely.
What's your spell save, do you say?
What did you roll?
I rolled 14.
Yeah, that makes it.
Okay.
I'm willingly letting it happen. It would not be fair of me to ask for this and then persist it.
Hey,
You're
can we all
all
tell the
little-
truth except me?
You're all a little fucking traitors.
Harral also fails it. And she sits down on one of the boxes while she's within the spell effect.
Yeah.
what
Looking to
kind-
Rain and Delphine because I know they made the save.
Rain blows a kiss.
Okay, I know who I will never trust in my life again.
I look at Delphine and I just say, look, you already know most of my secrets. I don't need to share them with everyone.
Harral just says, I once stole 7 gold pieces from my own grandmother.
Grandmother had 7 gold pieces.
Yes, but not for long. Is there any other kind of truth that you want out of me to trust me more?
Well, apart from the obvious nuisance that we are, which for that I apologize, was not the plan at all, just a bad coincidence. If we help you, and just go along with your plan, will we be okay, or are you planning on double crossing us at some point?
I assure you that I'm not planning on double-crossing you at this point with our current relationship.
Excellent. That sounds good. Please, Delphine, if there's anything.
My favorite color is, by the way, violet.
If I may take advantage of this, I have a couple. Is there anyone else within House Lyrandar you're planning to kill?
Not at this moment.
So you didn't got any other assignment?
I have other assignments, but none of them relating with House Lyrandar.
Would everyone
Relating to any one of us in the group?
See, now you're asking the interesting questions. And Harral like leans back a bit. They are not considered assignments at this point.
I'll ask something a little more direct in that regard. Why am I on your radar?
Because you have something that very much interests my house.
Don't like that answer, but it's not untrustworthy.
Pie is, by the way, better than cake.
It's your personality. I think that's what it is, Titan.
How will you want to waste the minutes away with this game of 100 Truth?
We can continue this, perhaps. Another time before the commotion dies down. I think I hear other footsteps.
So, one more thing. You said that your assignments against one or more of us are not assignments at the moment. What are they then?
Collections of information and possible leads.
Mm-hmm.
Look, you can hardly be surprised by the things you were involved in past month and weeks that you didn't draw anyone's attention. No, did you?
In a way, that was kind of one of the goals.
See? Congratulations, you're getting famous.
Is there anything else immediately relevant we need to ask Harral, or... I'm out of ideas.
I'm just a little curious. At what point did Mr. Leowin hire you, Harral? Is this recent? Months, years?
A few months ago. Takes some time to come up with this, to set up the networks, the communication, to meet through proxies and the likes. It's been a few months.
Around the time Delphine's father started getting cold with her, I wonder. Speaking of cold, I'd like to go somewhere a little warmer for resting before we have to go into the sewers. May we?
I was about to say that. If we can huddle up somewhere, get some rest in, and then we can start using the cover of night, maybe, to make a first foray. Still have some grounds to cover, and you might want to catch the rest that you need to catch before we head out. And with that, you see Harral already gets up, stretches a little bit. Come now, we'll find something nice. And she leads the way while slowly also moving out of the range of the zone of truth for the spell.
It's only 10 minutes spell, so...
Just before she leaves, while still just on the edges of the zone, she says, also, I really don't like pineapple. Just so you know. And steps out of the zone
Now I
of
don't
truth.
trust her.
And that's where we're going to take our little break. For now, we are going to take a 5-minute break before we continue with the session. So that's an ideal chance to also stretch your legs, cast your own zone of truth, and come back in about 5 minutes as we continue with this party as they probably head down in some deep, dark, dank sewers. See you in 5.
Excellent.
We are back! It is time for the second part of today's session here on Horde of Tales playing the Convergence Manifesto. Our party has created a distraction so they can get some rest before they sneak into the sewers of Stormhome under the cover of night. Talking about that little bit of rest, for simplicity purposes, I can assume that the party can find a place to get some rest and actually enjoy the benefits of a long rest. But I'm curious, what kind of place do you find? Where do you spend a few hours to recover from your wounds, restore your spell slots, and the likes? What kind of place does the party come upon for this?
I think if we're going near the sewers, Rain would encourage going somewhere along the way. And sewers normally have drainage pipes going out. So at least we'd be near the water.
I mean, Delphine might know some tavern owners that might not like her, but she could probably convince. So, like, for mouth-shutting reasons and everything. If she pays them enough.
Sleeping by the sea is free.
Hmm?
Sleeping by the sea is free. The sea is very fair.
You could also go out of town if you want that.
That might be the wiser option, actually.
What you, especially what Delphine would know, is that if you're looking for a place that could be a potential entrance to the sewers and not be as central as you are now, is if you're heading a little further north along the docks, you can get your way to an outside district of Stormhome, and you would still, there's probably some kind of drainage, storm drains and the likes that would not be too far off. You would get the party to a little bit away from the heat of the center of the town, and either, as Rain suggests, you enjoy the view on a beach here on Stormhome, which, to remind all of you, is kept at a very pleasant, warm temperature at all times, thanks to the magic of the rain callers. And it would easily be a very comfortable afternoon to spend outside on a beach and dressed up, or you could look for any kind of tavern or inn.
As a player, I don't really mind. I don't think it's too unless I get the feeling it's. I don't get the feeling it's really relevant. It's for flavor. So as a player, it's like I'm Gucci.
Yeah, I kind of agree. It's, you know, we can say it's like the back room of a tavern or something that we can find our way into.
Or the cellar or whatever, at least. That's there is some shielding from just people passing by.
Whoa, Stormhome's tiny. That was only 13 feet.
Maybe there's a tavern that's like closed for business or something.
Yeah, something like this.
One of those beachside that sells like the very fruity cocktails.
Or they're so shitty that people actually don't like going there.
Exactly.
There is, if you go a little bit out of town, there is indeed a really, to put it bluntly, shitty tavern that has hardly any visitors, is already happy that there's people coming in there. And if you give some extra coin, they can easily give you the back room to hang out in for a while, as long as you order a few drinks, get a few snacks with that, and don't draw too much attention to yourself.
Does that
Perfect.
include? Does the price include forgetting who we are?
Yes, in this case, they're already happy that there's people coming, and if you just ask like, also, hey, if anyone asked, we weren't here, they're happy that you're leaving money there and that they probably finally have some coin to pay whatever landlord owns this building.
Okay. Sounds perfect.
Perfect.
So you get this back room, and it's a small room. It has enough space for the 5 of you at this point. Harral, basically, once you're in there and the door's closed, she moves one of the chairs to somewhere next to one of the windows, moves it there, keeps an eye out of the window, but you also see that she's crossing her arms and then gets a little bit of shut eye, just to get a little bit of rest in after this intense morning.
Watches, sleep, yes. Sure.
Yeah.
If watches are being handed
Yeah,
out.
we're setting up watches and then sleep.
If it's the middle of the day, we sleep now. We'll get up in the dead of the night, which I think is ideal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Considering the rooms that you're in here, if we don't have to bother with the details of who takes which watch, there's a cycle of watches set up, but all of you can get in a long rest as you basically rest away the afternoon into the evening. And so all of you can also click that long rest button. And if there's any one of you who needs to change out spells or something, that is your chance right now to change out any kind of spells or do any other prep you need, as by the end of your long rest, the sun is fairly low in the sky. It's quiet outside. And Harral is also getting ready to start this plan.
Sleepy, sleepy. I will say my boots probably do. They say that the boots regain 2 hours of flying ability for every 12 hours they aren't in use. I for sure spent a solid hour flying today.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Where this rest is 8 hours, not 12.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you're not getting those.
that one.
recharged yet.
I only have 3 hours left.
3 hours of flying.
Oh no.
Oh dear, that's not nearly enough. Really, like, just small little note somewhere in between one of the watches. Dythun would try to get Rain's attention, like either when both of them happen to be awake, and just like try to signal to her to like a mental connection. Just
I have something here. Where? Higher? Lower? What do you mean?
right here, right there.
Here.
Yeah.
Is it off?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, okay. Good night. Mentally, yes.
I hate you sometimes.
These two. Every
but I
time.
never change, but also I hate you sometimes. It's not necessarily relevant, but I don't know if I necessarily elaborated before. When I came into contact with Harral, I saw something dark and sinister, and I'm not the kind of person to get visions. And I take that very seriously, and everything Harral is doing and has said, I have very heavily been taking with a grain of salt. And I want you to be fully aware of that.
Noted. I noticed you were fiddling with that little thing you have on your gloved hand.
It hurt more than usual for a little while. And apparently that seems to be the reason why she even knows who I am. So again,
Birds of a feather.
just be aware of that for now.
I'm very aware. I, for one, cannot read Harral in any sense of the word. She is shielded.
That's not. Whatever the opposite of reassuring is, it's that.
Well, reassure that. As lovely as it is to have friends, the only thing I trust is people's own motivations for self-preservation and getting power.
Right.
So as long as we trust Harral, that she herself does not want to die horribly, be targeted by her employers, or have the wrath of an entire dragon-marked house upon her, that there is some sensibility in what she's doing, regardless of what her motivations are. And the only thing we need to do is remember what our motivations are. Staying alive, getting out, and doing what the heck we want when we want it.
Right. All right then.
No.
Yeah.
I was just thinking. If it gets very dire, and as much as I love toying with all of you, it's so cute to see you all laugh. If it gets very dire or something, I don't know, poke your own eye and I know to cut the joke. If you need a quick talk.
Why can't it just... Why don't you poke my eye? I have claws.
Well, then I know you're serious. And it's not just for a nice chat. I do enjoy our chats, Titan.
Maybe next time... Maybe
Seriously,
I just...
harm yourself if you want me to stop.
Alright, fine. Whatever. I'll find a way.
You want me to say anything to Kaita? She was such a good girl. I hope she's doing well.
Not tonight, no.
All right.
Thank you,
Hope
though.
I get to see her again.
Me too.
Bye.
After your long rest,
Long rest.
with the day having passed by, Harral looks at all of you as you're getting ready and says, "All right, when we headed over here to this this place, we came by some sewage pipes along the coast. From my understanding of the sewers, that would be a good entrance point. Can navigate us to one of the points that I do have knowledge of. And from there, navigate closer into the Lyrandar Palace. Now, I do want you to be aware, from what I know of Stormhome, we will first enter parts of the sewer that are fairly well maintained. This is, in many regards, a tourist trap, and they don't want any kind of health issues here, so they usually keep their sewers fairly clean. That means there's going to be people maybe down there who take care of that. Not necessarily armed people, but people who will still be surprised that we're there. And the closer we get to the palace, well, there might be other shenanigans down in the sewer. But what am I worried about? I have people who can punch, I have people who can do magic. We have quite some skills here. So, follow me.
I suppose it would be prudent to not make as much noise down there?
That would be very beneficial.
Shame.
I would prefer a stealthy approach.
Please let me know when I can make some noise.
Should it... Like, how stealthy do we need to be?
As silent as we can, the less attention that we draw to ourselves, the better.
Because I'm not... That is the one thing I'm not good at. My armor makes quite a bit of noise.
Can you take it off?
No. I mean, physically, yes, but I would rather not.
No, it has been magically attached to you in a way that we cannot solve.
It has grown onto him.
No, but imagine Titan just
Yep.
take it off and all the kinks catch all the hairs and all the fur.
Yeah, it's very
It's
painful
gonna
to
hurt.
take off. It's all just velcroed onto my fur.
Ugh. It's like the 40-year-old virgin can
He
take it off.
hasn't taken off. he hasn't taken it off in so long. It's just like meshed, like it has merged to his skin.
Okay,
this is
look,
kind
It
of
smells terrible too.
might look terrible underneath it as well.
Anyway.
Look, okay. I can take it off if at some point before we get into the palace proper, I can put it back on, because me unarmored, surrounded by a bunch of guards, is not going to do well.
Keep it on
But
for
maybe
now.
Okay.
If I get the feeling that we might have to be stealthier, we can still see if we can strip you of that armor and continue then.
All right.
Follow me for now. Was there something you wanted to say, Rain? I saw you lean in, but
I will right before we leave. I will pull out my my staff, which is this translucent. It almost looks like glass, but it's kind of has this little kind of frosty look on it.
Mhm.
And I will just kind of wave it over myself, and I have mage armor.
You have mage armor on.
That's the long one, right? 8 hours. Yes.
8
Right.
hours, yes. It's the long one. And
Up.
with that prepared, you leave behind this not high quality tavern. The owner still being happy that you stayed so long. Sometimes even during your long rest, the owner popped in to put some snacks down and see if you wanted any more drinks,
Oh,
and was very caring of you, because there were no other guests.
I love them.
And you say goodbye to them, or you don't, your choice. I don't play your characters. And you get out of the tavern and closer, a little bit further south again, to the to one of those drain pipes that lead out into the harbor. Now, we're not talking about any kind of modern city large drains with a lot of gunk or something on them. Stormhome keeps itself pretty clean. It is not just the seat of power of a dragon-marked house, but it is also a popular place to take a vacation in. So you want your city to be as presentable as possible, and also the outside of your sewers has to be as presentable as possible. And this sewer that comes out is actually shaped, is steel, and shaped into the forge, into the shape of rushing water that comes out. Like, there's actually pretty impressive steel artisanry to shape these waves, as if it looks as if it's a steel wave pouring out there. And you see some water rushing out of it into the bay, and the party, all of you look up there, and Harral points to a ladder that leads up to the pipe. We'll take that, get in there, and then continue from where it's there. Can all of you see in darkness?
Yes, of course.
Quite well.
Did Titan say quite well?
Quite well.
Is that a deception check?
For me,
Do you have dark vision?
yeah.
Why am I thinking
They don't have dark vision.
Why am I
Actual
thinking
cats
I
don't have.
That's
Actual
what I'm
cats don't have
confusing it
dark
with.
vision
Yeah.
for some
I
reason.
say I actually have 10 feet of blind sight too.
Sweet.
I think there's only one member in the. I'm not sure. Does Rebus have dark vision?
No, not really. But I have an Everlight lantern
Ah, the thing that
for a
disrupts our
reason.
stealth.
Yeah. I also have a shining light on my
That's
face.
Is this by now your ever shining lantern in your face?
Well, I carry a separate one, but I mean, I can try to make that dimmer. I'm sure. I don't know how much of it is decoration and how much of it is actual just power.
Wait,
well.
okay, I have a question. Can you close your eye? Like, if I do this, can you do that?
I try to do that.
Does it work? Does it do anything?
There's not really a mechanic for any kind of eyelid or some kind of iris that you could shut. Like, you see Dythun blink with his eyes, and you just look at him with your headlight.
Rebus
And
can't
nothing happens.
not ever not see.
Oh, gosh.
But you know, it's not really an eye. It's I
This
can't
is
really explain to you
weird.
what
Okay.
it is, but I don't see it. The faceplate was there to give you organics a thing to look at, but it's not. I don't necessarily see through. It's.
Okay, well,
I will just cover my face.
Harral raises her hands like, don't worry. It adds a complication, but I think we can work around this. And if you're going to have to invest a lot of effort to hide that up, that might be effort more spent on paying attention on what's going on around us. I'll just make sure that all of us are as stealthy as possible, and we'll figure it out.
I do try to, since the light would, if I had a faceplate, it would help me like project different things. I try to do whatever it would have to do to have no projection on the face, so like it maybe dims down or just
You could like with the faceplate, you could like command it to dim it down a little bit more, but there's always a bit of latent lighting in there.
Well, yes, because it's still there, so
Yeah, you can.
It's working.
You can dim it. You can dim it down a bit, but there's always a little bit of glow.
well, regardless, if you can't see in the dark, just I can help guide you through it. So just stick close to me.
I shall.
All right. The party goes up the ladders up into the drain pipe, and you can quickly climb into a place where you have on both sides of the sewers that you're entering are walkways where you can walkways wide enough that you can walk two people abreast to each other, next to each other, and in between both of these walkways is a fairly wide stream of sewage water, and which is, as is typical for a sewer, of course, a mixture of various detritus of the city, anything that might be ending up here. And the smell is, at this place, at this entrance area, still bearable because there's fresh air from the bay coming in, but you can already have some of these sharp notes in your nose of some of these things that might have been lingering here in the sewers for a while, and there are also a few rats and the likes that you can spot that try to scavenge what they can find here. The sewers themselves here have no lighting of themselves. Once you're out of the entrance area, moving further into the sewers, it's getting fairly dark. The only lighting that you do have past the entrance is very faint glow worked into the walls that flank the walkways, there is this line of glowing stone worked into the top of the walls that bathe the sewers in a kind of reddish glow. And that light comes from the walls itself. The stone itself is enchanted to give that light. You hear the rushing of the sewers water and your own steps as you carefully move on in the sewers. Harral is in the front, sometimes raising her hand to gesture you to stop, and then gesturing again to move forward. Is there anything you would like to do while Harral is guiding you through this place?
Not beyond additionally trying to hear for footsteps that are not ours.
I think just keeping a very vigilant watch.
Right. Could I get a group check, so a roll from everyone on, I was about to say initiative, but I meant perception.
Some difference.
Perception?
Carol.
Does Rebus get any disadvantage?
Since you are, this is side-based.
They're not
and
like
we are,
blind, right?
No, but you would have indeed disadvantage at the perception check here.
Okay.
I almost always forget I have advantage on this. It's very fun to remember that. 19 for Dythun.
Not bad.
Nice.
18 for Rebus.
Nice.
3 total on the Caro die.
6.
Also gonna roll for Harral.
It's so pretty though. It's so pretty. Why you let me down?
You keep your ears and eyes open for any kind of sounds or sights that you might notice. And Rebus, even though you have a harder time seeing here, your sensory module is not adjusted to these dark environments, you still have very keen hearing. And you pick up on, as the party moves on, that on the other side, across the stream of sewage water, you really pick up these soft sounds of a bunch of rats that creep away through the crack in the wall after they seem to have successfully scavenged something from the sewage stream. You hear the dripping water and everything, and you're also very aware of the sounds that the steps you and your companions cause. And Dythun, you as well are very keenly picking up on these, and also, especially since you mentioned it yourself, picking up on the sound that your armor makes with your walking. Like, even if you move as slow as possible, there's a clink and a clank to the armor, and you are very aware of it. But you're also very aware that so far you're not spotting any kind of threat. And you walk on, the party walks on for another 10 minutes until it would be Dythun and Rebus who would be the first one to notice this. Rebus, you would notice it first by sound, because breaking up this orchestra of regular sewer sounds is a snoring sound, a fairly heavy sound of someone snoring soundly in their sleep. And Dythun, you would also hear that. And looking past Harral, you would see that you're coming to an intersection here in the sewers. Like, so far you've only been following one path, but now you're coming to a sewer crossroads where multiple parts of the sewer meet each other, and there's actually, at the center of the crossroad, there's a bit of a pool, a slightly whirling pool where multiple streams of sewage come together. And ahead of you, you can make out in the outlines, in this darkness, bathed in this red glow, leaning against the wall, you see a fairly large figure a maybe like 7 feet tall figure leaning against the wall and snoring. And you see that they have like a bull's head with horns coming out there, and from what you can see, Dython, there's something dangling from one of their horns.
Does Harral seem to like notice and stop?
Harral does not seem to have noticed it yet.
Okay, Dython's just gonna like tap Harral on the shoulder and like stop moving.
She
And
stops
kinda
as
like-
well.
Yeah, and
Just motion to everyone else that can see to stop.
If we're in different like parts of the line, like if I'm more towards the back, I'll make sure that the people in front of me are stopping. If you're next to Harral, you can tell her to stop. Just make sure we don't just run in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
So basically, both of you work together to make everyone aware of that. There's a reason to stop for now and stay still.
Yeah, Dython's just gonna try to point in that direction.
Yeah.
Trying not
And-
to say anything, assuming it's gonna echo if he speaks.
Yeah. All of you are made aware of this figure ahead of you, leaning against the wall at these crossroads. A bull-headed figure with horns on and something dangling from one of the horns.
Dython holds up his shield like I don't have anything.
Sage whisper. Do we tiptoe across?
Any other plans?
That's enough to.
Okay, going forward and trying to stealth across this person.
You want to try to stealth by the person?
Yes,
All right, Delphine, can you give me a stealth check, please?
yes, I can. I'm good at stealth. Oh, I'm really good with stealth. This is a this is a 21.
21. You sneak by and you get closer to the person, and you can see it's a minotaur who who is dressed in the uniform of a Lyrandar city guard. So there's the typical blue colors worked into the uniform underneath a chainmail armor. But the uniform, from what you can see, is covered in stains, all kinds of stains. And the Minotaur has their head thrown back against the wall, mouth open, snoring loudly out of it. And dangling from one of their horns is what looks like a shirt. There's just a shirt someone would wear.
Okay.
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 Delphine creeps up. Rain just keeps a telepathic connection with Rain. With Delphine, sorry.
uh, talking to Rain like it's one of the guards.
Can we join you? Seems
Sure.
safe.
He seems very deep asleep, but yeah, don't try to make any noise.
I will, having heard the message from Delphine from afar, I will very softly whisper to the rest of them. It seems safe to cross. It's a city guard.
All right.
Are we gonna do a sneak?
Rain, do you have anything to help Dythun with his,
No.
armor?
Great.
I don't.
Oh well.
Can I get a stealth check from everyone else who is sneaking by? I'm also going to roll stealth for Harral.
That was terrible.
Love always having D&D Beyond open. That's always fun.
Yep. It's a 5 for Rebus.
What did the rest get?
12, actually.
You are horrible with that.
11.
11.
How did I do the best out of the three of us?
Maybe Delphine was trying to be so careful that everyone's like, watch this.
So as you make your way by, Rain, you almost with full force step into a puddle, but you stop yourself in the last moment and get by the sleeping guard. Dythun, maybe it's because of your awareness of the sound you're making that allows you to keep as quiet as possible, which leads you to the best possible results. You still make sound, but you're taking breaks in between. Like you make these large, careful steps, allowing the sound
as he's snoring.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like you have a few hiccups here and there, but to your advantage here, this Minotaur is asleep. So how perceptive could the Minotaur be? How hard could it be to sneak by a deeply sound snoring Minotaur?
One thing. Could I take a little bit of cloth and basically put it over the eyes of the Minotaur in case he wakes up so that he doesn't seize immediately?
We can
anything?
get back to that once we
Okay.
resolve the role of Rebus.
Okay, cool.
Dyson is just thinking, we're doing so well. I'm sneaking so good. We're not gonna get caught. This is gonna go so well.
Rebus, you step forward slowly and carefully, following the example of your companions. But suddenly something registers out of the corner of your eye. Something just leaps at you out of the corner of your eye. And in your shock, you see there's one of those rats just leaps up your leg. Your response is like to at least look towards it. But as you look towards, realize, oh, it's just a rat. You're already off balance. You step into a large puddle, the one puddle that Rain evaded in last moment. Water splashes up on the guard, and as you gain your balance again, there's one of your servos, some of your gears, make an unfortunate sound as you balance again. The rat, scared now, jumps off of you, races towards the sleeping guard, climbs on top of the guard, and over their face, and you can see the Minotaur, and is awake, looks around. Delphine, there was something you tried to do?
I punch him in the face.
Oh. Okay.
I mean, like, oh
You
wait.
want to punch him unconscious?
What is?
You want to...
Could I make that punch so that, like, using the fingers to just poke into the eyes so they are forced to shut them close?
Make an attack roll?
Of course. Oh, that's pretty good. Oh, 19.
The Minotaur, who just awoke from his slumber, he wakes up in a very groggy way, like, what? And then he has his eyes barely open, and he gets fingers poked into his eyes. And he
Shall I
closes
roll for- Yeah.
and he tries to get up, but I'm assuming you take the chance to
Yeah,
get past and run.
Yeah. yeah, exactly.
Okay.
If there's a puddle, can I do this actually? No, I can't do it. Nope, never mind. I can't freeze it.
I was just hoping to, like, before he fully woke up, to either run away or just stand there and be like, oh, but I'm so sorry, just going to where I have to be. But now, we're getting out
Just
of the way.
run!
All of you, Harral witnesses this, and especially like Harral was already like getting in position to run away, but then sees Delphine doing the eye poke thing. And for those of you with dark vision, you can see Harral just go like, and then runs with the rest of you down one of the walkways here in the sewers. As you can hear the guard behind you, oh no, stop! And oh my head, oh, and it's just slowly awakening from whatever deep slumber this guard was in, from whatever.
He might also not see anything for a while.
Yeah, and you just run down the walkways deeper into the sewers at this point. And once you have some distance between you and the guard, and are pretty sure that they're no longer following you, Harral stops all of you and goes into a group huddle and says like, how about we don't do stuff like that?
I'm pretty sure he will not follow us at any time soon.
I apologize, it was my fault. I don't know what happened to me. The rats startled me. I'm so sorry.
I'm not... Look, that looked like an accident there, but... Delphine, seriously? Fingers in the eyes?
It's pretty efficient.
I mean, it did work.
Though
You can't argue with results.
the dirty uniform and the clean shirt across the horn would have suggested maybe it could have been also paid off. Didn't seem pleased by the position they were in. Oh well.
It looked like a guard to me that was sleeping on duty. So,
Same. Anyway, how about we are going on? The night is not that long.
If there's one particular large puddle that goes across the way that we came, Rain will freeze it over. Some nice black ice.
right.
Actually, I will literally make it black ice because I can also change the color of the water.
Perfect.
So if anything should come running behind us, hopefully it'll slow down. And that
Excellent.
ice stays there for an hour.
Ice stays there for an entire hour. Wow.
Poor guy.
No, but I cannot freeze water with a creature in it, like a foot, for example.
Right. All right. And with that being frozen in, we have the party continue a little bit further, and we're going to take our final break for today. Just a final 5-minute break. And then we're going to see where this will end up for today here in the sewers. So make sure you get your watertight boots on as we continue down here. And please do not poke anyone into the eyes while we're on a break. And we'll be back in 5 minutes. See you in 5.
I poke.
We are back for our third and final part of today's session. Our adventurers are infiltrating House Lyrandar Palace through the sewers. They are currently in the sewers, and they have just overcome a sleeping guard who just slowly woke up and then got fingers poked into their eyes. So that's how things are going currently. We will be continuing after the party moved deeper into the sewers. And you do come to parts of the sewers where there's more and more of these smaller parts of sewers coming in from the sides. So you're basically walking over this wide walkway where you can still walk two abreast with having the sewage stream next to you. But there's also more and more of these little streams coming in out of pipes from the walls, feeding into the main sewer channel in the main sewer channel in the center where you're walking. And as you continue there, at one point, you come into a circular room, fairly high ceiling, and converging here are 8 different streams of the sewer, and also additional water flowing in here from pipes that reach out of the wall. There are these metal staircases that lead up alongside the wall to a higher level of the sewer in this fairly well-crafted place. Harral stops all of you and says, we should see if we can go and get up there. There's another level of sewers above this one, closer to the palace grounds. Should be slowly from here on getting closer to the High Wash district, which is closer to the pinnacle and to the palace. But I also expect once we get up higher there might be also some more precautions, security methods. Talking about that, give me a moment. And she just starts looking around, trying to gauge up the place. Anyone else of you here who also wants to see if they can spot anything or see anything peculiar? Anyone who...
If there's an elevated place, Ren will like to fly just vertically up to also take a look around and up.
Right, so you're activating your boots of flying, and you go up.
I would just normally look around.
All right. Rain and Delphine, as both of you look around, one of you in a more elevated position, the other just normally looking around. Can both of you give me your perception check, please?
Can I perception check behind us to make sure nothing's
Sure.
closing in? Okay.
Sure. And
We already have 2 people looking up, so.
You have been given advantage, but you already have advantage on perception checks, so you can still keep that.
14.
14? 11.
I'm not really good today.
I got
This dice.
I got 17, and both of my dice rolled exactly the same way, like facing. It's weird.
Right.
I don't know.
I just rolled 4 other die and they all landed on 8.
Scary.
Charlie, what did you do to my dice?
This is it's ominous. But Dython, you got 17? Did I understand it correctly?
Yes, 17. Sorry.
So first of all, you check the bag, and as far as you can tell, there's no one following you at this point. You did not hear any further sounds. There's no one giving chase, so all of you people are fine here.
Perfect.
Delphine, what did you get again?
14.
14. You look around, you notice that the metal staircase is leading up in a spiraling way further up to the top. You see they end in a hatch that you can open at the top. The hatch currently is closed. It has like this valve that keeps it closed from one side. The stair itself looks very stable and looks safe to use at this point as well. And Rain, with your roll, you also... Well, it's a staircase that leads upwards, and there is, at this point, a significantly stronger sewage smell here. That would be kind of dominating your senses at this point.
All right then. Up, you say?
Yeah. Do you know, I once, and Harral keeps talking as she goes up the staircase, I once infiltrated during another mission through the sewers. They actually kept gelatinous cubes as cleaning beasts there.
Cute.
absolutely adorable. Less adorable when you run into someone and you get stuck in it.
I have heard of this strange food on the surface that resembles these creatures you mentioned, but there seem to be pieces of fruits or other things suspended in them. Are they the
Pudding?
are they the carcasses of these creatures?
I sure do hope they're not. I had a few
Hmm.
puddings in my life, but I'm pretty sure they were not ooze related.
Wouldn't that be considered relatively, well, dangerous, for the lack of a better term, just not up to standard if they fill the sewers where other workers are working with potentially dangerous creatures?
Well, the people who worked
I
there,
can
there
see
was
the
a good
efficiency, but
well, they had a good warning system in place if you knew what you would have to look for, but I have to admit it was one of my early missions, and I was a little bit foolhardy.
I see.
Well, I guess we keep our eyes peeled for cubes of a gelatinous nature. I for one don't like the last time we encountered things ooze related.
Or
Hmm,
what
you
about
have
the time
experience.
before that?
You have experience with them.
But an ooze, not the square ones.
Well, which of our times, Titan? There was
Any
the
of them.
time. There was the time on the frozen mountain. There was the time in the cave.
I mean, but both of them were bad.
Hmm.
Have you ever had a good experience with an ooze? Because I haven't.
Useful to make your way through doors if you can keep one in a vial and you pop it out of that vial and it starts acidically chewing its way through a door.
You know, funny enough, that's kind of what happened to us. we opened a door and there was one there.
The ooze was on the door.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
Anyway,
Let's
go up. I don't like oozes. I don't want to keep talking about them.
You make your way further up, and eventually all of you come up this metal staircase, and you're underneath the hatch. And as Delphine had already spotted, it has a valve on it, and all of you would understand that the mechanism for this is that you would have to turn the valve, and you could probably then push up the hatch to get through it. Any one of you who wants to do that?
I mean, is it something that needs strength to rotate it, or
Like an athletics check?
a volunteer tribute?
I would actually, at this point, now you're all close to the hatch, could all of you give me an investigation check?
Ah, yes. That's a -1 for me. 11.
17.
17.
11.
11.
12.
12.
No good today.
Mm-mm.
You're standing at the hatch and you're talking about, like, hey, do you maybe need strength to push it open? Do you maybe need any kind of athletic competence? Rebus, meanwhile, is already observing the hatch and the surroundings of it. And Rebus, you notice with closer inspection, it seems like the valve alone might not do the trick. Or at least it looks like parts of the hatch are also clamped down with smaller metal plates. And you're not sure how those would interact with the valve opening. And also, as you're standing here in the dim light, the reddish light that's still cast from the stones here, but also the dim light of your own headlamp, you do notice that with the little bit you see, not sure if it's scratches on the steel of the hatch or if actually someone carved something into it.
Actually, friends, I think this might be a reinforced door of some kind. I can't really. One of you who can actually see better. Does it say in here? Does this original view or just random scratches?
Would it make sense for like Dython to be close to it, thinking we needed like to
Yep.
really heavily pull this? Okay.
Yep.
Dython will look at it.
Yeah, and you
Is there
like
writing?
while you were caught up in the conversation about just brute forcing it open, you look around and you see indeed the scratches marked out, pointed out by Rebus.
Mm-hmm.
They look like intentional carvings. There's like some kind of arcane script carved into the hatch.
I think Dyson looks at it for a minute and it's like, oh, yes, I see. It seems we have, yes, it looks like rain. Rain? Help?
I thought you were calling for brain. Did it respond
Yes,
to
I
you?
am a rain caller now. Can
Oh.
you?
I'll float up and being pointed. Do I get the feeling this is arcanely trapped?
Now that you're being aware of it and being pointed out there, can you give me an Arcana check with advantage, please?
Oh, thank God. I think is there an Arcana check if there's a trap to arcanely be trapped. I don't know. Roll first. Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. So now that you're being pointed at it, you do indeed recognize this is a place that has glyphs carved into it. And you do know that glyphs and wards can be put into objects and places. And if not handled correctly, they will trigger whatever kind of spell is stored in there. Now I need to quickly double check something. I need to know what's on the sorcerer spell list and what's not.
You can ask me and I can give you a yes/no.
Oh, it'd be way better if you don't know what kind of spell I'm looking for. You do recognize from what you can tell with your roll, with a total of 20, that these glyphs contain 2 different spells. One of them you recognize, one of them you don't. One of them seems to be a glyph that is linked to trigger a fireball spell.
Ooh.
The other one you don't know.
I'm gonna ruin your plans and cast Identify.
That's what that spell is for.
And I get to know some other magic imbued properties, some other magic imbued objects. I know its properties, how to use them.
Yeah.
Bloody, 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 blah.
No. So with Identify, as you're just...
I pull up my pearl and I boop it.
And you look through it, you do understand that indeed one of these glyphs on there is a glyph that if the hatch is opened incorrectly, it will trigger a fireball spell centered on itself. And the other one is seems to be a modified alarm spell that's being put on it.
Ah,
Well, this would make sense if this is a way to get access to the castle. Yeah.
if it's this heavy, if it's this well guarded, it will not only try to immolate us, it will alert anyone in the vicinity very, very efficiently. Is there any way I can, what's the word? Deactivate these things?
Especially with casting the Identify spell and with your arcane knowledge, you would know that, and considering the context of the scene, this is a passageway. People need to come through here. And if people instructed to come through here, they need to have a way of opening the hatch without being blasted to smithereens and ringing an alarm. So there must be a system of bypassing this. which could be a mechanic in the hatch, something that maybe could be picked or bypassed by trying to disable the mechanic in the hatch, or to dispel the magic that is in this hatch would also be a method of getting by it.
So would Rain deduce, like, if someone could be handily put a pick precisely there and turn it only exactly as I say it, we could bypass these triggers?
Yes.
I
But someone would
relate
have to
this
still
fact.
do that and succeed on whatever checks would be necessary.
Who has very... Could Rain conclude that one needs dexterous fingers to do this properly?
Absolutely.
Who has very dexterous fingers here?
Harral also raises her hand.
Could this be a team effort between the two of you? And I will guide you exactly what you need to do.
Harral looks at Delphine. Do you have any previous experience in disabling magic devices?
Hardly. So
All
if you have
Harral.
more,
I think, and she reaches into her painter's satchel, pulls out a pack of different tools. I could still use a few extra hands. I feel that Rainier has a good point. There's probably some kind of pressure mechanism and some handles. Would help if there's a few more dexterous fingers over that side of the hatch. So Delphine, if you could go over there
sure.
and just follow my instructions for a bit. And she gets out a few tools. She puts a few in her hands, a few in between her teeth as she starts getting to work. So basically, Delphine, you're giving advantage. You're helping Harral in a thief's tools check here. As she's
Delphine says, "I have complete faith in you," and backs up 35 feet.
Wow.
Rebus will look at Dython go and then immediately follow.
Remember that
Realizing what's
Rebus
happening.
doesn't have dark vision and like pulls Rebus back.
Yeah.
So Delphine is providing the help action there. So Harral is going to roll with advantage. Anything else anyone else wants to throw on that?
Rain is just only like, you see where the swirl on that glyph pulls over? That's actually what connects the circuit. Avoid that, please. So she's trying to give advice, suggestions, help.
That makes sense. She has like one of her little bips and bobs in her mouth. Like, okay, let's see. And she reaches in. Here it goes. With advantage.
I swear to God, I don't want to get grilled here.
Delphine,
I don't like that.
Yes.
can you
Oh gosh.
can you roll me a D4 on a 1 and let me know the results. I will say that on a 1 and 2 there is one spell, on a 3 and 4 is the other spell. You see Harral tricks in there. You hear like a and then
that was the... I get cut off.
Fuck. And one of the segment of the glyphs glows up, and you hear it is
Double dash. Double dash.
I need Delphine and Harral both to make a dexterity saving throw, please.
Shit. Oh, she gets a +2 on her saves.
Because of your aura!
Yeah.
This is why I backed us up 35 feet.
Oh, this is actually not bad. This is not bad at all. Oh, this day is horrible.
What is your total, Delphine?
25.
And Harral gets a
Okay.
+2 from your aura, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she rolled a 6 on that dice. And dexterity saving throw. Oh boy.
Does she have like evasion or something? If she was good at thieves' tools, Ida the
that
player is is making conclusions about what Harral is.
You actually have a very good point there. You're reminding me of my own stat blocks.
It's a team effort here.
Yeah.
Keep
Yep.
keep the NPC alive.
Yeah.
Uncanny dodge, evasion, whatever it is.
Yeah, it's the I think you mean uncanny dodge. That's the one that you mean. Yeah, that's yeah. If when an attacker that you can see hits you with an attack, you can use a reaction to half the attack's damage. But the evasion is actually just only at a higher level. She's not at that yet. So
Uh-oh.
so Delphine, you rolled very very good.
Finally.
and you.
Counting the
am-
d6s.
Need to roll one additional after this.
Well, damage aside, we've notified everyone.
Well, maybe.
19, 23.
You're saying there's a chance the fireball did not alert anyone in the vicinity.
Delphine, already halved. You take 14 points of fire damage. As there is this blinding flash as a fireball ignites the area around the hatch, actually burns into some of the parts of the ladder and some of the steel. You hear creaking, like grinding sound, and the dust settles, and Harral is thrown to the ground. She's like on the ground, like and you look up, and Rain, you see that the other set of glyphs in there just vanishes.
Uh-oh. Like,
But you
vanishes
would
like the
understand. You
center
would
trigger.
understand that. What you would understand from the working that it has been triggered, but the spell has not been triggered. Harral succeeded in like bypassing that glyph, so that spell is no longer on there. The alarm spell is not triggered. That you would understand from that, but the fireball spell has been triggered.
It's been spent.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And Harral pushes himself up. I think now we can apply the brute force to get through there.
Wait. Well, surely someone must have heard it on the other side.
Yeah, so maybe we should hurry.
Or let them come down and investigate. Let them find nothing. Let them find many rats.
Hurry back into the darkness. Just real quick, and she reaches into her pouch, pulls out a little bottle, pops up the cork.
As we're walking away towards the darkness, you have many interesting things in your toolkits, in your pockets.
Well, usually
Could I
those
take a look
tools...
through it?
No.
But I want to.
Yeah, and I don't want to get hit by a fireball, but sometimes these things happen.
It's not your day then.
It sure isn't.
Well, I like you said, sometimes I do fancy myself a bit of a magician. And I take a gold coin out and I flip it through my fingers. And I pretend to like put it up to her ear. And then I say, I shift over him like, Daithun, catch her arms, catch her wrists if you have to. Come close. I say telepathically to Daithun.
I'm right there.
Okay.
I walk up from behind.
As I tap the gold coin to Harral's ear, I say, "Aha! I have made something appear in your pocket. Whatever pocket that Rebus had specified that Leowen put the note in."
She looks at that little she has it's like a pocket in her pants. Parts of these pants now burned, by the way, and she looks at that pocket, puts her hand in.
Magic.
pretty sure there's only something in there that's supposed to be in there.
A magician never reveals their tricks.
You're a bit confusing sometimes.
Sometimes.
I agree. Yes, most of the time.
Well,
Delphine, are you coming back?
You see, you see,
One moment.
she pulls out from her pocket like a folded up note.
that Dython telepathically.
If she's holding it like this, I'm just gonna go grab. Boop.
Taken off guard by after just being hit by a fireball, probably still having like ringing in her ears from like when something blows up right next to you. You like snatch it out, and you see it's like a small paper envelope with if you feel around, there's something like coin or disc shaped in it.
It really was magic.
Dythan's just gonna hold that and kind of like hold it close to him.
And as Harral notices what's happening, she's like, I thought we had this whole 100 questions thing to trust each other. There's no need to rob me of my possessions.
Oh,
I just took a fireball to the face for the lot of you.
Well, definitely not for me.
Oh, come on, you don't look that bad.
Thank you.
I have one last question. And that is, what is this?
It's what's going to make it a lot easier to get into the Matriarch's sanctuary. It's actually one of the final pieces that Lord Leowyn got me to make my access into the sanctuary as easy as possible. It's a personalized entrance key. The Matriarch has, understandably, more than these kind of wards on her place. Not just wards with traps and alarm spells, but also things that suppress magic, that can keep people out, that make transmutative magic not work properly, anything made to not have people infiltrate, unless, she points at the envelope, you got one of those badges on you.
She's telling the truth?
How would you try to tell?
Well, she said she's
do
very
I
practiced.
know?
She's very practiced in telling lies, making us believe. So I'm like, Rain is studying her face. If anything, it's
I'm coming back to Delphine in a moment, but first, Rain, can you give me an insight check?
Yeah, try. Is it with these rolls? Total 14. We're getting there.
Sounds plausible what she's telling you. Why wouldn't the leader of a dragon-marked house have these kinds of protection? And it probably sounds plausible that someone who's that deep on the inside like Leowyn would have access to means of circumventing that.
Dython hears in his head, this tracks if the rain color is indeed working with her.
Delphine, you hearing that story would know that this is true. There are parts of the palace where you are not supposed to enter unless you have one of these badges on you. You can try to enter there, but you will trigger various alarm spells. You will probably be pulled out there if you're unauthorized there, and usually it's only like the inner circle of the Esravash who has these kind of badges on them. You would understand if this is truly one of those badges if someone would find out that your father has given them to someone outside of the house. There would be no future for him within the family Lyrandar.
All right. Well, if this is a badge, as you say, you understand how they work, then, Harral?
Fairly easy. You keep them on you.
Do does this work for more than one person?
See,
Or
and
is this a
is
way
the
for
trick.
you to get in there?
You catch up pretty quickly, don't you? This is one single batch.
You know, Delphine, there's also the thing that if she is get caught while trying the assassination, everyone who is involved, or she will give the name of that person, gets also kick their butt pretty hard. So, the best is always not to get seen, heard, or anywhere in the near of these things happening. And you're not part of the house, so for you, consequences will be pretty harsh.
I think that's what she signed up for, Delphine.
No, I mean you guys.
I guess the question is, are we just taking you to the matriarch then?
That's sort of what I was thinking.
Yep, same.
Okay.
I don't
We
expect
don't
you to
need.
I don't expect you to come in there with me.
Hmm.
It already makes it a lot easier if I have some people helping me to get there. Well, unless we have these kind of things here, and she points at the hatch.
As we've been stage whispering, has there been a commotion or any other thing? Has the hatch been moving?
The hatch has not been moving. You only heard like a little bit of the screeching metal that's now coming to rest after the explosion. You haven't heard anything through the hatch, and it would also be kind of hard to hear anything through it because you get the idea that the material of the hatch is very sturdy and thick, but at least you haven't heard any sounds from the hatch. You haven't seen it move, and you also haven't heard any sounds from the direction you came from. So as you're going downstairs or retreating a bit, there's no sounds of anyone else arriving.
Okay, then
Well-
then I would like to open that hatch.
I guess.
Go ahead.
I guess my only concern is, are we fine us not having a way to see Harral once they reach whatever threshold this gets them across?
No hard feelings, but this is a professional job by Harral.
I just
She's a big girl.
I don't-
telepathically back to Rain, like, am I giving this back?
Telepathically, Rain would say. Better if someone else does the dirty work.
Snatches it. And Delphine, you're in the meanwhile, we're busy already trying to open the hatch,
Mhm.
like trying to...
And Delphine knew that there was still a glyph waiting to be triggered on it.
No, that vanished, or?
Exactly. That's it.
The alarm.
Maybe I wasn't clear in my to TLDR of my description. The other glyph is no longer working. That was
Okay.
successfully
Yeah.
disabled. The only thing that went wrong, the roll was not good enough to disable both of the glyphs, so that's where the fireball went off. But the other one was disabled. So
Okay, now it's clear.
Better the fireball than the alarm.
Yeah,
Honestly, yeah.
indeed.
and you give it a good few spins. You hear a clung as you have rotated it as far as it can. You push it open
Slowly, very slowly.
slowly.
So that I maybe get a peek through it when like getting up to see the area around it.
You push it open. There's a slit. There's a bit of more light coming through as you open it. Reach up, peek a little bit out. Look through the slit. We get a good shot of Delphine's eyes as she looks through. And that's where we're going to end today's session.
I hate you.
Oh, come on! Seriously?
I was always trying to hurry us along
Marcus!
earlier.
And
We still have like 10 minutes until 11. How dare you?
I'm sorry. No, I'm
You
not.
don't sound sorry.
Yeah, no, you're not. Admit it.
No, I'm not.
I am
All right.
excited. Oh,
So, infiltrating back into the palace through the sewers, and you are going to see how that continues next week. How's everyone doing?
And next week is our last session before we take a break.
Is indeed the last session of
Oh,
this
yes.
year already before we're going to take a bit of time off at the end of the year. So, who knows? We might go out with a bang for this year. We might have you successfully help assassinating a leader of a dragon-marked house. There might be cats.
God.
There might be also like the potentially that we're all fucked in the end, and not only we are fucked,
Yeah.
Nah.
like everyone
Like
involved.
Well, then we just have to go very far away.
And to be fair, you still have like things to do at the other end of the continent. You have a reason to be
True.
very far away
Yeah.
again. So
We have still a contract to fulfill.
I've been told this was we're doing a side quest. I've been told.
The vacation.
This is supposed to be. It's not supposed to be, a lot. It'll be fine. Just a little detour. No problem.
You made friends along the way.
Where's my gold?
All right. Well, before we return to our own sewers and infiltrate our dreams or something, I don't know where this was going. We
Good
are
attempt.
any announcements before we head out for today?
Oh boy.
Anything we'd like to share? I don't think we got this week. There's nothing else going on
Yep.
at our channel, but next week we have, as mentioned, our last session of Convergence Manifesto for 2022. And on Thursday, we're also going to have another session of 12, session number 5 of the game run by Amelia. That will be next week, Thursday. That's 1 December at that point. So then you have twice the TTRPG action on our channel. And for the rest, is there anything else I might be forgetting?
Let's see. Not this week, but next week, so I'll remind you all about it. I will be playing Brinkwood. I'll be playing Brinkwood on there's be limited campaign starting December 3rd with Diane from Roll for Good, otherwise known as Balrog 1911. And I'm playing a game with people with amazing cast. Her friend Lawful Geek, Trooper will be there, Gloss and Gadgets. This person may be familiar with KP of KP11 Studios will also be there. Very excited about that. And then on December 8th, afternoon time for us European folk, early morning for the US, I will be playing in Ladies of D&D's in December. And we're going to be playing Coyote and Crow, which is a TTRPG that is entirely indigenous people based in the Americas. So basically, this was imagine if Europe and everything else never happened because the oceans in this world are always boiling. So there was no seafaring. And the cultures got to prosper, flourish, develop. And we're going to see what happens in that time, what adventures we have of it there. I'm very excited. And I'm talking with the DM to sort of give a little bit of representation. My family has a lot of cultural ties to the Aymara and Quechua Incas. So I'm going to try to bring some representation there.
Super cool. Super
Might
cool.
even
But
dress
yeah.
up in the traditional
amazing.
dress that I have.
Ooh.
Oh, that's super cool. Yeah.
Oh my
And
goodness, Ida, you're really going all out. Just fully.
super cool. I shared the link to the Twitter of Ladies of D&D to keep an eye also on Ladies of D&D socials. Good friends of us. We've had people from Ladies of D&D streaming also here on Heart of Tales. And you should definitely check that out. Sounds super cool. Ah, fantastic. I love to see all of you just doing your own cool stuff as well. It's fantastic. Anything else that is going on you would like to share?
Well,
Not yet.
Not at the moment.
Well, it's not that we're doing, but maybe we should encourage people to do. If you're in the Netherlands or in the Benelux country, or you're willing to travel, next year in April there's going to be an itty bitty first year ever Dutch TTRPG exclusive convention. And if you're interested in DMing a table of anything you fancy, the convention is called Initiative Con.
Initiative Con.
And sign-ups for that end December 1st. So if you Twitter, look on Reddit, look on Discord for Initiative Con. Yeah. I'm going to be there. Marcus, you're going to be there? Cool. I think Hap is going to be there. Sandra is going to be there. There's a lot of hard TTRPGs.
Yeah, if you are in our corner of Europe, in our part of the world, definitely check it out. It's a small new convention. I shared the Twitter also with other details in there for Roll Initiative Con. Always great to see TTRPG communities coming together, doing cool stuff. So definitely check that out if you're in our humble corners of the world.
Yeah.
They're not humble, they're also awesome corners. So check that out. Alrighty. Well, with that being said, I think all of us have deserved a long rest for now. We thank everyone who dropped by to chat with us, watch our game, and just be generally cool. Thanks very much again for today. Thanks also to all of my players here for joining me once more on session 40 of this campaign. And we will be back.
Thank you, Marcus.
We will be back. You're welcome.
Thanks for letting us bully you and your NPCs.
I'm being held hostage, but you're welcome. No, no, it's absolutely great. I enjoy doing this. I love doing it, and I look forward to next week to do the last session of this year, which will be session 41 of this campaign. Thanks, everyone. Take care of yourself, and we'll see you next week.
Stay warm.
Stay warm. Bye-bye.
Bye.